So, we're going to make an American original, the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie. However, this peanut butter pie will be non-dairy, so the majority of your family and friends can enjoy this great delicacy of a dessert. This is an American original since peanuts are actually indigenous to the Americas. So let's talk about why it's called the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie. President James Earl Carter was the 39th President of the United States from 1977 to 1981. He was born on 1924 in Georgia. He served in the U.S. Navy from 1946 to 1953. And in 1953, he moved back to Georgia and picked up his family business as a peanut farmer. Hence, that's why the peanut butter pie. He got involved in politics around 1962, and in 1970, he became the 75th governor of Georgia. One interesting fact about President Jimmy Carter is he was really one of the first environmentalist presidents. President Jimmy Carter followed in the footsteps of Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt, putting together natural parkland to protect the future generations. He also helped put together protections for the American riverfronts. In addition, Jimmy Carter passed legislation that helped put clean energy as a forefront, making automobiles more energy efficient. In addition, Jimmy Carter was partly responsible for the Department of Energy Foundation during his administration. Jimmy Carter also spoke openly about the concerns of the future generations regarding the climate crisis and wanted to make sure the environment was protected. Therefore, Jimmy Carter was really, truly the first environmental president. The ingredients for the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie are the following. Since it's non-dairy, we'll be using one 8-ounce package of non-dairy cream cheese. And you can find this in many of your big box stores. And this will be something that we'll show when we actually cook. 1 8-ounce cup of creamy peanut butter. Remember, creamy peanut butter is better than nut peanut butter. Number 3, 1 8-ounce cup of powdered sugar. 2 tablespoons of non-dairy cream. We'll be using almond milk. And 1 8-ounce cup or tub of non-dairy whipped cream. Finally, for your graham cracker crust for the actual pie shell, we wanted to keep this recipe simple, so we decided to go to one of the big box stores and just pick up a pre-made graham cracker pie crust. And it was about 6 ounces, and it looks pretty good when we actually serve it. It's going to end up in the freezer anyhow, so we wanted something durable. The first ingredient in the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie is 1 8-ounce package of non-dairy cream cheese. And in this particular case, we're using a non-dairy cream cheese product called Tafuti cream cheese. You can pick this up at any big box store. The reason that we like this particular brand is it dishes in really nicely as our foundation for the pie. Its creamy and soft texture will work well with the peanut butter that we're going to add later. Plus, it's a soy product, so it's another legume like a peanut. After we've added the non-dairy cream cheese, we want to mix the non-dairy cream cheese by itself to create a nice, smooth, and creamy base. Then we're going to add 1 8-ounce cup or 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. Not chunky, but 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. Here I've got a nice big cup, and I'm using currently Jif, and you can use any peanut brand as long as it's creamy. You can even use a generic brand if you prefer. But I happen to use the Jif here, and it's a nice creamy brand that we're going to actually then spoon in to the mixture. So here you can see the nice cream cheese or the non-dairy cream cheese that's already in there, and now I'm spooning in the peanut butter right next to it. The next step will be to go ahead and mix these two together so that creates a frosting-like texture for it. The third ingredient for this pie is 1 8-ounce cup or 1 cup of powdered sugar. Now we're not going to put the whole cup of powdered sugar in, but about half of the cup of powdered sugar into this mixture to make sure that it starts to work with the smoothing out process of the non-dairy cream cheese and peanut butter. Once we have about half of the powdered sugar poured into the mixture, we're going to put the splash guard in, and then we're going to mix this for a couple minutes with the powdered sugar, peanut butter, and cream cheese or non-dairy cream cheese. Our next or fourth ingredient is going to be 2 tablespoons of non-dairy cream. Here we're using silk cream or silk milk. It happens to be almond milk. And we're going to pour in 2 tablespoons, and you can do that while it's mixing with the splash guard. And that's going to help smooth out the powdered sugar with the peanut butter and the non-dairy cream cheese. Finally, we're going to add the rest of the powdered sugar to complete that in there. And we're going to put that in as our last step for that so we can mix that for probably, I'd say, another probably 2 or 3 minutes to make sure it's blended in there really well. We are now at the final stage of the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie, which is 8 ounces of non-dairy whipped cream. We happen to be using a whipped cream brand called Cocoa Whip, which is so delicious, is the actual product name, and you should be able to pick this up in many big box stores like Target's, Walmart's, or other grocery stores. We're going to take this full tub of 8 ounces of whipped cream, the non-dairy whipped cream, and put that all into the mixing bowl here, and that's the last final ingredient from all the items that we've added. And so you don't necessarily need to reserve any of the 8 ounces for this. I usually use the whole thing. In some cases you may reserve it for later for the topping, but I'm going to go ahead and put the splash guard on, and I'm going to mix this for probably about 2 to 3 minutes. And as we mix that, once we come back to it, we're going to have a nice and smooth pie filling texture. As you can see here, it almost has a look of like a frosting, that with all the ingredients placed in there. And as I pour this into the graham cracker pie crust shell, you're going to see that it looks like a frosting that comes out real thick and really creamy when we put it into the actual pie crust. Now remember, this whole thing is non-dairy, and I'm going to smooth this out, and in order for it to solidify or to set up, we're going to put this into the fridge for probably a couple hours. I'd say probably 2 or 3 hours. So we're going to take this pie, and I'm going to put the cover on top of it, and after I put the cover on top of it, I'm just going to put it in the freezer, I should say the freezer, for about 2 to 3 hours. Once the Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie has been in the freezer for about 2 to 3 hours, we have a bonus added toppings for the pie. We're going to use toffee nuts and another tub of the Cocoa Whip, and we're going to take about 1/4 of that Cocoa Whip and use it like a frosting on top of the peanut butter pie, and then we're going to put the candy nuts on, sprinkle those out throughout the pie to make this nice looking Jimmy Carter peanut butter pie. And this is great for any of the major American holidays: 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and even Thanksgiving. So we encourage you to give this pie a try. Try out the Jimmy Carter non-dairy peanut butter pie. Thank you very much.